thank you for coming, and we're going to discuss state of open innovation. So today, November, just our impressions. We just came back from the World Open Innovation Conference in Bilbao. So this is Andrea, and my name is Nicola, and we do marketing and innovation consulting, and also more specific open innovation consulting, and we have platforms for open innovation. So OpenInnovation.me is a platform for professional product design or for professional users, for example, construction workers or factory operators or nurses or anybody using a professional product at work. They can, participate in open innovation of those products. We recently launched a platform for open innovation for real estate, OpenArchitecture.me. So we just started talking to people. We're looking for a partner for a first case study in Scandinavia. We're focusing there, and then we'll see after that. And then OpenOS is our platform white label solution that can be installed anywhere, like open.ibm.com or something. So, okay, so our mantra, our goal is that everybody in the world should participate in open innovation. So that means we are very particular. We focus on bottom-up innovation or open innovation. So we always talk to the masses. That's why we need a platform. That's the real use of a platform. So we're kind of marketing/innovation oriented, where we want to listen to all the professional users, all the customers, all the people that use products or use something. That's our goal. So what is open innovation? So open innovation, something that was very strongly understood now at the conference is that it is unavoidable. It is impossible to avoid. It is not a little side thing, and but it is really a next step of innovation inside the company. Like, it is impossible to skip it. It is a company that doesn't go towards open innovation is going to have problems. That means that all the participants, all the companies that were in the conference were clearly saying that they cannot innovate without open innovation. And these are very serious companies. I'll show some of them that were participating. So open innovation is not a little side project, but it really needs to be an integral part of the strategy of the company. But there are many ways to do it. So the most basic definition, I just listed here kind of like arrows, but all these things work together. A single company can have single innovator internal team, R&D, which is a bit more formal, market research. They can buy companies, acquire companies, merge for innovation, which is the main reason to innovate, to buy companies. And then open innovation is one of those things that works with everything. So it must be there. It is unavoidable. So, and it's very important to understand that first, open innovation is not just engineering or just marketing. It's really complex. It requires management consulting, marketing, engineering, product design. It requires a lot of skills. And it took us a long time to develop those skills ourselves. And all the people there have really, they're very well versed in many different activities in a company, and they can talk to many departments. So, and every time someone is a bit weaker, for example, in design or in marketing or in engineering, that shows up, so they need to work with someone else. And very important that open innovation at this stage is a cultural and a process change. So it's at that level. So it doesn't depend on technology development, but it's still on kind of adoption level. It's going to stay at that level for a long time. I'm saying this because, for example, it's not necessary to do, there were companies that are doing AI and complex technological things. I don't think that's necessary. Most of it is just cultural things. We are still explaining to CEOs, to government, to everybody that they should do this, although big companies have really taken a big bite into it, So the best way to explain, open innovation is to show who works with who. So basically, everybody works with everybody. They made a really nice selection, about 100 papers and about 24 case studies, and they covered everybody, from all continents, from all aspects, from all types of, organizations working with each other. So there were clusters with clusters, which is really crazy, especially healthcare. That was very impressive. There were bigger companies working with smaller ones. There were companies working with research organizations, universities, independent research, whatever. There were, kind of companies like that make something and they want to innovate together with their supply chain or value chain, companies that deliver that to customers or that are giving the materials, which is kind of what we are doing. There were companies working with customers, or with experts, kind of in a specific field. There was a lot of open data, a lot of projects are dealing with open data. Again, in healthcare, literally saving lives, that was unbelievably impressive. And there were governments, also working with everybody on every level. So open innovation at this, in 2023, which is the 10th edition of the conference, 20 years since open innovation was, promoted in that first book by Henry Chesborough, is really like, there are examples of it being everywhere, and everything's really many cases, very complicated. It has a lot of investment, and it's very impressive, And they're all very aware that they're calling it open innovation. They use the same terminology, kind of like idea creation, value creation, etc. So this idea is really penetrated very deeply into everything on a high level, So just to go quickly through benefits. So what are the benefits? So I'm first listing the benefits for customers and users, So they get more innovation. So people there at the conference really care. Like they really, really care. I really love this. They really care that more innovation reaches customers. And some of the case studies were really focusing on that because they were against destruction of innovation, which happened in some cases with startups in America, and they were really against that. So these people really care about giving more innovation, giving more value to the end users, to the customers, basically everybody there on every level. That was very impressive. It's kind of like a religion almost, And and what's very important, there is less internal self-centered innovation, but talking more about other people. That's what we like, they're talking about safety, comfort, ease of use, for example, So if a company is innovating internally, then they're not going to improve the safety so much, maybe a little bit, but if they are more open to end users, customers, then some of these customer-centric aspects start to be improved, So it's not only about what companies think about, like price, profit, efficiency, but it's also what customers care about, completely different things, safety and stuff. For companies, obviously, a lot of good things, they really go beyond the resources because there is a limit how much a company can innovate with internal resources. That's talent, money, time, whatever. And all of these companies, no matter how big they are, they realize they cannot. There is a limit. Like the internal innovation is a temporary thing you do. And then before you open up, it's kind of a preparation for opening up. You do internal innovation, you prepare to open up, and then you start working with startups, governments, other companies, clusters, professional users. So the goal is not to stay closed all the time, but to open up as soon as possible. And internal innovation must be prepared for that very, very well. And all these people are very well prepared. How do they integrate their research team with another research team or with 10 other research teams on multiple projects? How do they deal with IP? So all these things are very, very, very serious, very complicated, and they take a lot of, figuring out. So you'll see all these other things are generic that they keep repeating, it's a sales method, training, etc. But most important is that it really goes beyond the current, the resources that any internal. I'm not saying that this is for companies that have less resources, that don't have so much money. It's like for everybody. There are companies that make tens of billions there, and they know they have to use open innovation because they're just not everybody's with them. So what are the main points from the conference? We presented the FIAM-OpenInnovation.me case study, and that was, I think, the only one that is so much bottom up, and I think many people were positively surprised that we're doing this. It was a new thing for them, but they understood it, they like it. So this is where we presented what FIAM does, which is FIAM is using OpenInnovation.me and Open Innovation as a concept as integral part of their relationship with all of their partners, and they're going to continue doing that. So I think we are waiting for approval, but I think we're going to share that case study soon over our newsletter and maybe present it again. So this conference is the #1 conference. So it's kind of like the Oscars of open innovation. All the top people were there, and they're very well prepared. They made, as I said before, they made a really good selection of industries, participants, sizes of companies. I mean, there were really huge variety. Unfortunately, they had only 5 rooms and 5 presentations at the same time, which is, I guess, typical for this kind of conference. And I couldn't see everything, so I had to choose. But it was really very impressive talking to all the people, in the breaks. Very smart people. And so, as I said, some people are working on very complex processes, how to put clusters in healthcare and biotech and stuff like that, working together and delivering, value, through projects, through open innovation projects. I mean, that's, I think, like they're doing really impressive stuff, a lot of healthcare, again, everybody uses platforms, and I hope that in the next year, we are going to produce another case study. This is what I would like also to do with open architecture, that we have another case study that is bottom up, and we go to Berkeley and present it. That would be really awesome. But for sure, we'll try to visit. And I would recommend to everybody, just to buy a ticket and go there, because the most interesting thing is mingling with people and meeting and talking to them. They're all very open. They like to talk about stuff, and they're very impressive people there. So this is just a nice selection of a couple of things that were interesting. We spent a day, half a day in a place where Rolls-Royce is kind of outsourcing their engine design, and and over a couple of years they assembled about 100 startups. I don't know how many. I think about 120 startups who are developed in the area, focusing on materials or specifics of jet engines. And that was just again very impressive, that they built this whole cluster of innovation of all these companies working together on various levels, and in Bilbao in Spain, and all of that ends up again to Rolls-Royce, and it's used in engines. I don't know, Airbus or who. And I asked an interesting question. I said, okay, well, if your main business is maintenance, which it is their main business, how much do the maintenance people participate in innovation? How big is their influence? They said very high, but unfortunately they don't have a platform. They should use our platform for that. But they do have to study very much, how easy it is to fix, to maintain these engines is extremely important for them as well. So they were, that was, for example, Petrobras, which is, I think, the biggest energy company in Brazil. They have their data, 150 innovation partners. There was Philips. I was a bit not so happy about Philips, because out of all the things this company has innovated, and they were talking about using open innovation, how to kind of fire people, so it was an HR-oriented open. I guess they wanted to be new, to do something unexpected, but I was kind of like, I was expecting something else from them. And Boomtown, kind of a silly name, but actually they do open innovation through, they find startups and smaller companies that can deliver innovation to multinationals. Then those startups are being bought or partnered or doing something with the multinationals. So the innovation is being spread. And they are the ones that got very upset, because their mission is to bring innovation to the customers, to augment, to make innovation available to more people. And they have a portfolio of, I think, billions of dollars worth of startups. But companies started buying their startups just to close them. And they got, I think, very upset with this. And now they were presenting the new model, how they're going to reevaluate with whom they work, because they do not want to bring startups for slaughter. I mean, everybody makes a lot of money when they're closed, but their really mission is to bring innovation to the customers, not to kind of destroy competition of multinationals. So I spoke a little bit with them. They're very interesting. They use platforms to filter, startups, and to coach them towards so they're able to innovate better with the multinationals, so they can, standardize, and so overall, like, just talking to these people for 2 days all the time was really great. Again, how should companies use open innovation after all these, impressions? I mean, just call us, that's what we do. Use our platform. So we have this OpenOS software, which can be installed anywhere, like very quickly. And there, you're doing open innovation. You just have to promote it and figure out your way to do it. We'll help with that. So, and then also at a reduced cost, you can use openinnovation.me for professional products or for open architectures for real estate, And what's very important is to take it, step by step, because it takes a long time to figure out what is the right way to promote it, what kind of people to ask, what to do. And it is not an engineering, an innovation project only, because innovation in most companies is kind of like an engineering thing. And it should not be understood as such. It's also a brand marketing thing. So it has to go together. So it's very important to mix those two. So you need to develop equally the engineering part and marketing and general openness. And openness is not like a philosophical concept. It's really, how do the IP processes work? How do the design processes work? It's a very pragmatic, practical thing that needs to be redesigned in a company, starting from culture and then into real practical changes in in just security and how the company operates. If the company is too closed, it's definitely, if it doesn't upgrade and start working, even as a practice, starts working with some smaller companies or bigger companies, and doesn't practice being open, in their processes, in communication. If they don't know how someone should come to their lab and stay there for a week and talk to them and try to come up with something, if they get upset, if they don't have time, if they're the grumpy engineer, it's not going to work. All these engineers now are very well trained in how to communicate, how to work together. They pay a lot of attention to it. The age of a grumpy little genius who knows everything in their room, and they come out, like a Grinch once a year, and they deliver innovations, that doesn't exist anymore. It's mostly people shaking hands, talking, sitting in a big table, figuring things out, exchanging data, talking all the time, having meetings, trying to put their brains together. Not 2, but 10 people, 20 people from completely different companies or clusters, and that takes a lot of practice. And, that's very, very, very important. But again, it's always great to start with a platform, because when you open up and you promote it and you talk about it, then people come to you. They take it seriously. If it's just internal, it's always controlled by internal biases, So, and as I said, we make open innovation very easy to start. So just icon on a website, QR code on products, couple of campaigns will help you with that. And then we have now a tested innovator process, user process, super simple, mobile. We are specialized again with customers and professional users. So we are not, if someone asks me to connect a biotech cluster with a pharma cluster, I don't know how to do that. Now I know who to call, but I don't know how to do that. But we are, I think, very good. What we understood, that we are probably the best. I'm being a little bit more the best in the world in really figuring out how to do open innovation with, from bottom up, with customers and professional users, because we have so much experience in marketing and e-commerce, and then we also are very good at product design and engineering. Anyway, that's it. That was a quick rundown. We'll send you the video. I don't know if this video is useful, but we'll send the presentation, and then any questions you have, I'm here. Ask away. You can write them in the chat. I don't know. Can they ask in voice?
Yeah, both. If someone wants
to raise your hand.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works. Can
you go to the slide of Boomtown? I want to say something. If someone has, I want to say something like that. The very big difference between the projects made here and the project we see there is that the number are much higher, meaning that they told us 1,500 people participating, 10,000 people in an Indian real estate projects participate. Then there was something like 160 companies working together to develop a new product. Then, that's the dimension of open innovation outside. Talking about Italy, obviously. But let's say there are really structured projects, and none of the projects were something like 6 months. They're all multiple years. Structure, multiple years, 5 years to develop and finish. But really enormous amount of people collaborating. Yeah. And that was really amazing. The number of engagement is unbelievable. Yeah.
The main takeaway is that that is very solid in my mind now is that internal innovation alone is done. That's not, I don't know, that's happening maybe in companies where they didn't realize. Yeah. So eventually all the companies are gonna learn how to innovate with someone. So they're not going to be making products in silence and then selling them. They're going to be making products together with people who know exactly what they need. They're going to be collaborating much more openly. So also with clients, with everybody. And then the second thing is that the role of engineer, the concept of engineer, of innovator, who's innovating, how this person is, how these teams are, is different now. So it's very different. These people making these very complex products, from biotech to healthcare to high tech to jet engines. All these people are now, marketing is penetrating everything. This management concept is penetrating everything. So, and open innovation is a penetration of these other activities in a company in these labs. So they do not, the risk of isolated innovator who is just like, maybe using a little bit of market research, with this market research with graphs and data, faceless data, that's done. Now it's much lower risk to just talk to people. Like it's much better for Rolls-Royce to talk to all the companies and all the maintenance people. It's just like call them on the phone and talk to them, have a workshop, give them an app where they can send you stuff every time they have an idea. It doesn't make any more sense to go around and pretend you know what you're doing and then kind of give us a 0-10 rate, how much you like our product. That's kind of the goal.
Well, I will also say that the big thing learned there was by Henry, actually, when he said, unfortunately we don't have the slide, but he said an example of the TSMC, and he said that the future is going to be that company is going to be core business internal, and then they're going to open innovation, all the rest. And he made an example for the chip maker for Apple that they took like 20 years, I don't know, like from the 2000 to now, to divide the internal part to the design and collaboration part, and they increased the revenue enormously. And he said that is going to be the pattern for all the companies, actually. I mean, for Italy it's going to be, we'll see, but for Americans seems to be the direction to learn how to divide the internal part to the open innovation part and develop the two sides, structure them. Was really impressive, I see a question.
I will answer this. This is a bigger answer, so I will answer it directly later.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, any other questions? Mirko, Valentina, Rappa, Leonardo. If nothing shows up, we'll close it and we'll send a newsletter. I'll explain a bit of these comments in the newsletter. And we waited a couple of weeks from the conference just to, for our impressions to settle down. Yeah.
I still need to digest that thing.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah.
I'm looking forward for the next year. And another thing that's very important, for example, in jet engines, they say they know where the innovation is going to go in the next 10 years. Like it's very clear, 10, 15 years. They know exactly where it's going to go, but they are solving a lot of details with through open innovation, like lots of small details that they cannot figure out. So the main direction of innovation is very clear to everybody in the industry, but it's about the details, how to solve all the little things around the main concept, like, like the pie must be an apple pie, 100%, but what is the size of the slice of the apple that you put in the pie? That's something where they are, competing and trying to figure out, which is the best. So anyway, thank you very much. I think we did a fast one. I'll send a newsletter. You can subscribe. You can go to blog openinnovation.me, and there is a blog. You can just subscribe there if you're not already on the newsletter, and we'll send or just read the blog later. We'll write a nice report next week of all the things we said now and share these slides. Vielen Dank, grazie mille, evharisto poli. Hvala puno.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.